Guys, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. It's April 2019. So please, subscribe and smash that like button. Let's start the video. Boop. Brain mates! Hello, my name is Jordan. I'm from Jordan and you are watching The Jordan Show. Today we are going through the fourth episode of Misconceptions with the title Small Huts, Villages and No Cities. Some misconceptions argue that Africa didn't have any cities whatsoever. So let's watch the video and talk about it. Roll it. I'd like to thank you guys for sponsoring this video, especially Matty Man for sponsoring this video and many others. You can do the same by donating in the link down below.
That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
Hello everyone, it's Jabari here. Welcome to episode 4 of Misconceptions.
Hey Jabbar, what's going on?
Among the most common misconceptions about sub-Saharan Africa, which usually comes in the form of an insult, is in regards to the architecture, almost always pointing towards its overall lack of sophistication based on things such as building materials, its limitation to single-story buildings, or the absence of any form of urban development or planning.
I really don't know how exactly they use these misconceptions. Like, I just want to. I never met anybody who's saying that. Maybe because like I'm from Jordan, we don't have that many black people, and even if we do, I don't think people don't know that much about Africa because. Come on, like we studied history. I don't know from where they come. They come with these fucking misconceptions.
Well, that's 'cause y'all were living in cow huts while the white man was building stone cathedrals.
Oh my god. This white sound just gets me. It just surprises me all the fucking time. Like, wait, I don't know. Nah, this is just weird.
See what I mean? So in this video, I'll go ahead and show you guys just how untrue these notions are. Let's start with the easy one. The notion that Africans never built any structures grander than one-story buildings. I honestly cannot think of any reason why this assumption even exists in the first place, as there are countless examples to the contrary.
That's what I'm saying. From where they come with these misconceptions, I have no fucking idea.
Not to mention, I can't think of any good reason why two-story buildings epitomize a grand civilization in the first place.
Thank you. That's another thing that I just don't understand why people think about.
In fact, most of the world's modern-day population still live in one-story buildings, despite our ability to construct skyscrapers. So anyway, let's take a look at the Ethiopian churches of Lalibela, for example. Dating back to the Zagwe dynasty in the late 12th and early 13th centuries, a collection of massive multi-story churches are located in the town of Lalibela in northern Ethiopia. However, the fact that these churches are multiple stories high is probably one of the least impressive aspects of their architecture. What makes these churches
Very beautiful. I like this kind of architecture.
so special is the fact that they are carved out of solid rock.
Just like Petra, if you know what's Petra. If you don't, I will make a video about it when I go there soon, hopefully.
That's right, the windows, the doors, the stairs, and even the non-functional support beams are carved from solid stone.
Well, they are churches, so they obviously learned that from the white man.
Oh,
Fucking, I hate this white sound.
really? Is that so? So, could you show me some examples of two-story European churches carved from solid rock?
No,
No?
of course not.
Okay. Ethiopia also remained largely cut off from the European Christian world since ancient times, so much of its architectural traditions were indigenous or taken from neighboring non-Christian kingdoms, to include the megalithic churches of Lalibela. More excellent examples of two-story architecture in sub-Saharan Africa can be found within the cities of the Ashanti Empire. The Ashanti produced impressive buildings that regularly reached 2 to 3 stories in height. In fact, the public buildings in the urban centers of the empire had gravity-powered toilets, specifically located on second floors of these buildings, that were flushed by dumping buckets of boiling water into them. Sudano-Sahelian architecture, popular in places like the empires of Mali and Songhai, regularly built multi-story structures.
That was taught to them by the Muslims from Arabia.
Again, this white sound just makes me want to punch myself in the face.
Oh really? Because Sudano-Sahelian architecture dates back to at least the year 40 CE, and possibly earlier. That's over 500 years before the Islamic religion was even born. So moving on to building materials. Due to Africa's sheer size, building materials vary widely from thatch and wood, mud and earth, and even stone. Yes, you heard right, stone. The material used really depended on the reliability and ease of acquisition. West Africa, for example, lacks much natural stone suitable for quarrying and building. With that being said, naturally it would be very difficult, expensive, and laborious to haul massive quantities of stone from distant lands, especially in a region that largely lacked horses. However, some parts of West Africa did have stone architecture, such as the Ghana Empire and more ancient settlements around the area of Dar Tichet, a site in Mauritania that dates back to around 2000 BCE, and is composed of some 500 settlements constructed utilizing dry stone architecture. And also not surprisingly, these regions were some of the few in West Africa to have horses. However, most of West Africa did not have these luxuries. West African buildings were largely constructed of adobe, mud brick, or wattle and daub, which was a very easy and convenient material to acquire in West Africa, especially in places around the Niger River.
I am really learning more about Africa because, like, we've never actually studied about this in the specifics in history lessons when I was in university or school. So this is like really interesting for me. It's making me a little bit smarter, huh? And making you guys a little bit smarter. So that's fucking awesome. We're talking about real shit here.
Oh, you mean cow shit?
Yeah.
This fucking white sound is just making me want to punch myself in the face again and again and again. What the fuck? It just makes me want. Whoa.
Yep, they did indeed include dung in their construction.
Hey, I think in my village here in Jordan, we used to do the same thing. Cow shit and mud and all these things to make houses like 300, 400 years ago.
Just like those beautiful and iconic buildings that most Europeans called home for thousands of years, and still do in some parts. That's right. They were made out of shit too. Despite the materials used, these West African buildings were often 2 stories high, with towers regularly exceeding 3 to 4 stories in height. Central African building techniques range from stone in the northern regions, such as the Kingdom of Kanem, or wood and bamboo in the central and southern regions, such as the Kingdom of Bamum. Just as West Africans still produced impressive structures despite the use of mud, the same trend could be found in wooden architecture. Multiple story buildings were regularly constructed, including beautiful and intricate architectural elements.
But it was wood. They were too primitive to build in stone.
Okay, well,
I don't know, I want to cry and laugh at the same time, guys.
I guess that means the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Koreans are also primitive, considering they had been building in predominantly wood and bamboo for thousands of years. And still actually do to this day in rural areas. So anyway, last but not least, we'll cover Southern Africa. Southern African architecture is largely overshadowed by the simple thatch and mud structures of the Zulu people, or the bush shelters constructed by the hunter-gatherer Khoi and San peoples. However, people like the Shona and Bokoni peoples have stone ruins that absolutely dominate the countryside of northern South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, such as the ruins of Mapungubwe, Great Zimbabwe, and the Bokoni ruins. What is most impressive about these ruins is the fact that they used no mortar in their construction whatsoever. All stones were quarried and shaped to fit snugly with one another like a piece of a puzzle, a tradition that still exists to present day by the indigenous people of the region. Despite that, only within the past few decades have Western archaeologists really given Africans credit for the creation of these structures. Before, they clinged to myths and fantasies of lost white Christian civilizations or Arabic conquerors as the creators of these structures, despite the fact that this style of architecture cannot be found anywhere in Europe or Arabia. These architectural practices were found within several diverse regions all throughout the continent of Africa, in cities and towns that were just as urban as any of their Eurasian contemporaries. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode. Be sure.
Yeah, just like we talked about before, I think these misconceptions come from a racist point of view, and it's really good that we're talking about it here, because we somehow will try to make sure that this message reaches everyone. I don't know anything about this, and I don't really know why people will do such rumors. These things are rumors. Like when they tell you there was no cities, they had nothing, and they're just trying to, like as we said before, trying to give excuses for the slavery, and that's fucking scary. We will have to keep thinking and shouting that slavery was wrong, owning people is wrong, and there was no excuse whatsoever that will allow somebody to own somebody else. I don't know, it's 2019 and we have to say that once again. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and smash that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace the fuck out.
That's my best friend.